Hello and welcome back once again. It is time for the Golden Age of DC Comics, 365 days, where I take this beloved hardcover coffee table book given to me by one of my best friends about 2 decades ago. This book has been surfing my coffee table ever since. And what goes great with a coffee table book and some coffee table talk, well, pull up a chair and grab a cuppa, have some coffee with me. Let me wet my whistle. Wow, that's a good cup of coffee. It's Ethiopian Yirgacheffe. Indeed. Good stuff. And this is a 2004 Abrams publication. You can find the link to the description in down below to the Amazon page where you can get your own copy. It would look good on your coffee table, and it makes a great gift. I know. This is some good coffee. Fresh stuff. The Golden Age of DC Comics runs between 1938 and 1955. The Silver Age from 1956 until 1970. The Bronze Age, I'm a Bronze Age baby myself, 1970 until 1985. And in 1985 begins the Copper Age. I also will host conversations about the nature of the ages of comic books after the Golden, most especially the current age we're in, how to define and label the age we just left, and how to maybe even extend the Copper Age until the year 2000, in my humble opinion. I'd love to sell you on this idea. So leave a comment in the comment section if you'd like to join me in some of this great YouTube community conversation. I'm here for that and you. I like to start off the show with something that I believe in very deeply. It's called the escapism caveat. Activism is important. Activists are important. The things that they do are there for a reason. Prima facie, they have good intent. They're trying to literally save the world. Indeed. Okay, and I support them emotionally too. But activists act like bullies. They do. They have their own space. They have their own place. But lately, over the past several years, they've intruded in the fandoms of sci-fi, of comic books, even in sports and in art. And escapism is just as important as activism. Why? Because we need to leave these world's problems behind just for a few moments. We need to take a break from this. So for activists to knowingly and purposefully use and take advantage of these stories and these arenas and these coliseums, and to constantly remind us of the Earth's worries and their needs, using our stories as their platform. I see right through it. And you know what, activists, stay in your own lane. Leave us out of it. We need to leave the world's problems behind for a few moments in a day. Be spirited away to a different place. Be a gangster. Be a policeman. Be a space alien. Be a pirate. Be a car racer. Get lost in the game. That's the point of escapism, is not to be constantly reminded about what we have to feel bad about. It's supposed to get us to forget them. You're missing the point. Or maybe you're not. You're just seeing the impact that Star Wars had on my generation and how it even supplanted our own religions in ways. So why not craft that narrative? I get it. I'm not buying it. And so please, enjoy your escapism. Take a break from your worries. You deserve it. You know what? I do too. And we're going to get to the point of the show. We're going to open up this book to today's date. We're going to look at some comic book art. We're going to read the blurb, and then we're going to talk about comic books. And we're going to talk about comic books every day for the rest of the year. So let's get to it. And I hope you are having a wonderful day. It's beautiful. It's summertime. It's I just got back from a comic book convention in Hartford, and it's a wonderful time to be a comic book fan, and I'm just blessed and grateful. And thank you. I'm blessed and grateful that you're here, coming along on this ride. It is July the 20th. This story may be set in 1781, quote, 1 week after the end of the Revolutionary War in 1787. But even then, a hero apparently had to have a kid sidekick. Today we're talking about the DC Comics frontiersman, Tomahawk, Thomas Hawking, aka the Tomahawk. So yeah, let's look at that art. We're going to read the rest of the blurb. This was art by Bruno Premiani from Tomahawk, issue number 15 from February of 1953. Even then, a hero apparently had to have a kid sidekick. There's Tomahawk riding the grizzly. And who is that in the background with the lasso? Well, who is that? We're going to find out. Hence the appearance of young Dan Hunter. In this adventure, Dan and his mentor, Tomahawk, are on a long trek through the wilderness, quote, without arms, without any weapon or equipment, unquote. But they do have a rope and a hatchet, whereas the bear is empty-handed. Let's give pause for that thought. My pun. Still, there will be no remarks here about the right to bear arms or the right to arm bears. Oh boy. We need some escapism from that subject as well, huh? But yeah, let's look at the art once again. We can see the Tomahawk iconic name on the banner up there. This has got to be the splash page, the first page, because it's not as glossy as a cover page is, which is made of a different paper stock, but we have a full-on narrative caption. You know, the medias res that you can, in the middle of the action, where you can open this book up and get right into the story. We could also call this an info dump. But that's a narrative box, and I'm going to read it to you. Without arms, without any weapons or equipment, they embarked on a 250-mile journey through a no-man's land of wilderness, and there was no turning back for famed frontiersmen Tomahawk and Dan Hunter, because of the lives of hundreds depended on the outcome of this perilous mission to Fort Bold. Dun, 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 dun. Then yeah, he's like he looks like the Kid Flash version of Tomahawk. They practically have identical outfits, and yeah, it's some Silver Age. I mean, this is Golden Age art. This is stories of an antediluvian day. Yeah, there's the kid. He's brave. He's resourceful. He had a piece of rope and he knew what to do with it from a distance. So actually I'm interpreting like several positive things about this youth, you know, and he's helping. He's noticing that his family member or a loved one or a mentor, his partner, is in danger, and he's doing something about it. He's got agency, and yeah, that's great. You know, and that could be any person as well, of any color or of any gender. Dan Hunter could be anyone in the grand spectrum of humanity. And that's a great hero or heroine or heroex for anyone to have, any young person to have. Be inventive, be brave, help out, know when to, and how to stay away too. I mean, a lasso on a rope, that's a distance weapon. You know, I mean, what's going to happen? We can only find out by reading this next page of Tomahawk, which we don't have. But what we do have is each other in this awesome conversation. I just wanted to end the show on this one about Dan Hunter. He got a reboot. Well, not a Well, he got a retcon. Now, what is a retcon? Okay, retcon's a huge word in my culture of comic book people and comic book stories. And I'm going to read this from the dictionary on the Google. I just put in retcon on a Google, and there's a noun and there's a verb. And this is not from the wiki. This is just, I dig this. I dig dictionary. Comic books and dictionaries go hand in hand with me. When I was a kid, my Auntie Joanne, my Auntie Jojo, who's passed on, God bless you, I love you, she was big about literacy and these learning moments. And so she would give me dictionaries along with books. I would get comic books, but I'd also get, real books, like, paperbacks. I could go to the bookstore and come back with 2 paperbacks anytime. But I also had to look up the words I didn't know. And that's why she was big on giving me a dictionary, a thesaurus. And my mom actually had the whole, 26 volumes of the Encyclopedia Britannica in hardcover. Ancient internet information retrieval systems. You can RTFM, read the manual. So a retcon, okay? A retcon as a noun in a film, television series, or other fictional work is a piece of new information that imposes a different interpretation on previously described events, typically to facilitate a dramatic plot shift or account for an inconsistency. As a verb, to revise an aspect of a fictional work retrospectively, typically by introducing a piece of new information that imposes a different interpretation on previously described events. Yes, so Dan Hunter, the kid sidekick of Tomahawk, who made his first appearance in the late 1940s, early 1950s. I'm reading this from the DC, it's the DC database. This is prima facie. This is great. I mean, there's a wiki for everything. For whatever your genre is, whatever your characters are, there's probably a detailed history. It's been never a better time to be a fan, but also, you can have a lot of posers come in just reading from a wiki. So Dan Hunter, had his backstory changed, and this came from the first appearance. It must have been during the Time Master series in 1990, which is part of the Copper Age, and so this would be post-Crisis as well. Crisis on Infinite Earths. Okay. Dan Hunter was born sometime in the late 20th century. In 1990, his cousin, the time-traveling Rip Hunter, the Time Master, from Vanishing Point in his time bubble. He's a huge character. If you have watched the CW show, the Tomorrow Show, the Heroes of Tomorrow, Legends of Tomorrow, you know who Rip Hunter is. And played by Arthur Darvill of Doctor Who fame, Rory. One of my favorite companions. Time-traveling Rip Hunter asked him to help out with some experiments he's been working on in his time lab. So Dan Hunter and Rip Hunter, his cousin, became involved in a centuries-old conspiracy perpetuated in a secret society known as the Illuminati. And this was years before Hickman's Marvel usage of Illuminati. 2 different Illuminati. Or are they? Rip discovered that in 1770, a Bavarian Illuminati agent named Adam Weishaupt had planned on assassinating American officer Colonel George Washington in 1770 and taking his place. To prevent this from happening, Rip supplied Dan with a time pack and sent him back to the year 1770. To prevent the assassination, while there, Dan met frontier fighter Thomas Tomahawk Hawkins, and the two stopped the Illuminati from killing Washington. Feeling strangely at home in the 18th century, Dan radioed back to his cousin, telling him that he preferred to live out his years in the 1700s. Rip honored Dan's wishes. Yes, this is a great example of retcon, and how as time marches on and writers need to make new stories about existing characters, they need to be able to have the latitude in order to tell these stories, to make new challenges, and to keep readers' interests, spending money and throwing metrics and attention at these intellectual properties. So these retcons is kind of like a sword without a hilt. You know, you need to use it, but you're gonna get cut using it. Ha ha! The power of metaphor, huh? Well, I don't think it was more of an allegory, I think. But you know what? We've been talking about comic books, and we're going to be talking about comic books every day for the rest of the year. So tune in tomorrow, 3 p.m. U.S. Eastern. We'll find out who we're talking about when we turn the page tomorrow. Thank you so much for tuning in. Like and subscribe. I would like to earn your subscription. I do cooking videos. I talk about spirituality and gratitude. We hunt for planets in the early morning naked eye sky. We talk about comic books every day, and you're welcome to join in. I would love to have you. This world is wide enough for all of us. Thank you so much. God bless. Namaste. Good luck, and we will see you tomorrow in the funny pages. Cheers. Bye-bye.